Okay. Usually we say good morning, but sometimes I like to say top of the morning to you. Actually, that's very Irish, and I think they don't really say it so much. But Americans, maybe if they're angry or joking, might. But it's just another choice of things to say. Let something slide. This isn't the best sentence, but we can't let that go. We can't just let that slide. Oh, you came to work at 9? Oh, they're not going to let that slide. They're not going to forget that. This morning when we met with Captain Yoon Byung-il, it was like, you want us to go up there, or are you coming here? But this is a common confusion. Are you coming here, or are we going down there? Intersecting runways are no good. Intersection, remember this is again an intersection, right? Intersecting is the adjective. I asked about Kunsan Air Base. You said a long time ago we had intersecting runways at Kunsan Air Base, but they only kept one runway in use. They only kept a runway in use. This is kind of a mistake here. So it wasn't really a problem. Why not build more runways? Well, it's always a financial problem. It's a question of money. It's always a question of money. It's a terrain problem too. They have to deal with the area. Maybe there's mountains or there's not enough room. Slow up, slow down, sometimes the same thing. A horse like this, woo, slow up. Look, he's going up. Slow down, like a car. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, slow down, pedestrians. Hero, opposite of hero, zero. He went from hero to zero. Right? She said that you can speak Korean very well, but that she can't speak Korean well. When you worked at the other place, was it easy? No, we had to come in 2 Saturdays per month. We had to work 2 Saturdays per month. Come in means work. You know, I'm tired of hotel food. I like a good home-cooked meal. Me too. The terms for ships and the terms for aircraft are sometimes similar, are sometimes the same. I asked about, hard right turn, starboard, left turn, port. Sometimes we use the same terms. Sailors and pilots, they use the same terms sometimes. We talked about the Chinese Civil Aviation Authority. Chinese Aviation, what's this again? That's embarrassing. Okay. We talked about these guys. The Aviation Authority for China, right? The Civil Aviation Authority for China. The China Aviation, what the Anyway, these guys make me angry, all right? I think that as time goes by, there will be some positive changes. But I said they will only change after an accident. Before an accident, they won't change. It takes an accident to make them change. We can never tell what's going to happen. We can't anticipate what China is going to do. This word is formal. This word is less formal. We can never know what they're going to do. They're unpredictable. Anyway, sounds a little bit faster. Fast. We talked about the United 1448, the Providence, Rhode Island case. And we said, she sounds a little bit like frustrated, a little bit dop. Frustrated. And she doesn't fully understand the situation, and she's become angry. Speak up. Please speak up a little bit. I can't hear you. If you put a little more, it sounds more like Jom, right? Could you please raise your voice a little bit? We can't hear you. Right. Speak up could be rude, but it's okay. Pilots need to speak up sometimes and tell ATC that there's a problem. They can't be quiet. They need to speak. Right. I expect them to change. We talked about China. Are they going to change all their airports to ILS approaches like San Francisco did? I think they'll change probably to ILS. But I asked about other Chinese airports, and you said, I haven't flown to those other airports in China. I didn't fly to the other airports. Break it down is explain. Let me break it down for you. We had that with the Sully Sullenberger video. Breakdown in communication, a failure in the communication, a failure to communicate. There was a real breakdown in communication with that United 1448 lady. Have you had any bird strikes before? Have you ever had any bird strikes? I have hit birds before. I have had 2 bird strikes. Sometimes the easiest questions are the most troublesome. This is a thing with Korean, the Korean language. For me, some easy questions, you think it's easy? I have 2 incidents involving birds, involving engine problems. This is a good grammar form. Clear away the birds. Shoo away. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Go away, birds. How do airports get rid of the birds? How do airports clear away the birds? How do airports shoo away the birds? The U.S. military and the Korean military had this joint training. What's it called? It's called red flag training. I've heard of a type of training called red flag training. Do you want some time alone? Okay, I'll let you be. I'll let you finish up there. Sometimes I ask, why does the military, they work together? The U.S. Air Force and Korean. But, here in the company, it just doesn't translate. You can't transfer that. Just because it works in one company doesn't mean that it will work in another. You might not be able to transfer it over. It doesn't necessarily translate. Set fire to. This bad person is setting fire to this house because he wants the insurance money. Some person set fire to the cafeteria because he was angry about the quality of food. But get a campfire started is this one. We talked about lasers hitting planes, and I said young guys who are bored, they don't think about what they're doing. They don't know about how serious their actions are. They don't know how serious it is. Remember, green lasers are higher frequency and pretty. The class is finished. Serious. But I finished the course last week. I finished this last week. Your phone is almost full. You're almost out of storage space there. Our writing is no good. We can't write very well. The first time in the beginning, this is for the hypoxia training. We do the hypoxia training, and our writing, we don't write very well at the end. In the beginning, we write well. But as time goes by, it gets sloppy, messy writing. The civilian pilots don't experience hypoxia training. I think they really need it, though, that type of training. There's only one type of hypoxia training center here in Korea, so it would be expensive. I don't think about that very often. I asked you, do you think there should be more hypoxia training? Well, I don't really think about it that often. I haven't really thought about it. We talked about the oxygen masks dropping at low levels. And the passengers, they can't breathe 100% normally. They can't breathe totally normally. They need the oxygen masks. They should have the oxygen masks. Without oxygen, we can't think correctly. We can't think straight. Our vision is limited. Our thinking is impaired. Talk down to him is mushihata. But the air traffic controller helped the guy with hypoxia. Remember in the Stuart Payne? She talked him down. She helped him through the process. She provided assistance. She walked him through the process. We talked about the fighters. The fighters can get close to, they can get right near, they can get next to the commercial aircraft. They could approach the aircraft and get right next to them. Right. Fly inverted or fly upside down. Does that help overcome the effects of hypoxia? I don't think so. The alarms were going off. They didn't acknowledge it. They didn't notice the alarms. They weren't thinking correctly. He didn't interpret the alarm correctly. He misinterpreted the alarm. We also talked about this case. Can you make some room for us? We're going to need a little room. So they're trying to climb, and they need room, so other aircraft are coming in. At the end of class, Captain Gong, I asked you, how are you doing energy-wise? How are you doing energy-wise? You have a lot of energy? No, I'm very low. Tomorrow, would you like to do this, or would you like to do this? Would you like to do A or B? No problem. Either one is fine. You can choose either one. I'll take whatever. Whatever's fine.